Hello, comrades, and welcome back to the Soviet vlog. Здравствуйте, товарищ. Hey, I forgot to mention another thing I really didn't like about the United States when I came for the very first time in 1995. I didn't like taxes. Well, to be more precise, I didn't like the retail tax that you have to pay here in Michigan anytime you purchase goods except groceries. So in Michigan, we have a 6% sales tax. And that was a total surprise for me, which is not a, it wasn't a pleasant surprise. Because as I mentioned, at that time I was earning $20 a month back in Ukraine. So you can imagine I was extremely price sensitive person while shopping in America. So when I purchased the very first T-shirt, I believe, or something like that, it was $9.99, so $10. And at the checkout, lady, I give her $10, expecting 1 penny as a change, and she told me she needs more money. And I show her the tax, it's $9.99, and she's like, "Yeah, you have to pay tax." And this is when I lost it. So you can imagine it made me extremely upset. The fact that it was pretty much like cheating, that you see one price on the tag, but then during checkout at the register, they tell you totally different price. Well, later when I started living and working here in Michigan, I discovered that those taxes work both ways, and both ways a regular person is getting screwed. So when you go to the store and you see item for $1,000, you have to pay $1,060. When you get hired and someone tells you we're going to pay you $10 an hour, well, your paycheck, so you work 40 hours, you expect $400, and paycheck is like barely $300. So you get in screwed buying things, and at the same time you get in screwed when you get paid. Taxes take money from you either direction. And I was trying to find explanation like why in the world would you guys not put prices like full price, that this item actual price is $10.40 or whatever. They say, well, apparently people buy more because it looks like it's cheaper. And besides gas at the gas stations, everything doesn't include sales tax, which is I find really silly. But anyway, so this is another thing I was really not happy with in America as a sales tax. Because when I work at the summer camp, they paid us $110 a week, which was insane money. But since we were foreigners, they weren't taking taxes out of our paycheck. There's some kind of law that if the people come from other countries and they work on this kind of exchange programs temporarily, no income tax applies to those earnings. So now I would like to talk about the situation with taxation in America right now, and more precise, you probably all heard about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her idea of applying 70% tax, progressive tax on earnings above $10 million, and what a huge uproar it made. It's funny because apparently in 50s and 60s, we already had that high taxes in America. People were taxed up to like 90% on high earners, and apparently America was doing okay. But I want to just tell you my personal opinion about taxes. Well, no one likes to be taxed, but I see it as a price of having society. I like nice roads. I like dialing 911 and knowing that the police is going to show up at my door in less than 5 minutes. So there's a lot of things that needs to be paid by everyone, public schools. So I don't mind taxes and actually feel okay, although I see the amount of money being gone. But I don't really subscribe to this idea of progressive tax, because it's pretty much like you're punishing people for making more money, being more productive, I would say. So I don't really subscribe to this concept that as more you make, as high a percentage you have to pay. I mean, I finished Soviet school and I was pretty good in math, and it's pretty obvious to me that if, for example, everyone pays flat tax of 20% or 25%, whatever, 20% of $1 million is way more than 20% of a $10,000. So automatically, rich people will be paying more in taxes just because they make more, and 20% is just bigger amount. But the problem is, what I see is deductions. My eyes, the eye opener, yeah, my eyes got open, I wanted to say, is when there was a second term for Obama, and Mitt Romney was running against Obama, and he showed his taxes. At that time, it was normal thing to show your taxes, and then of course Trump refused for whatever reasons. So when Romney showed his taxes, and he's a rich guy, making a lot of money, like $6 million a year. It actually, after all the deductions, all these loopholes, he was paying 13%. That was his actual tax rate. So although he was supposed to be like in 60% or something, or 40% tax bracket, he ended up paying 13%. And that's, I think, where the problem is. It doesn't matter how high tax bracket is gonna set. You can set up at 80%, 90%. You can tax rich people at 100%. But if you leave the loopholes, they will find them, they will exploit them, and they will pay at least amount of possible. It's like trying to fish for big fish with this fishing net that has giant holes pre-made. That fish will find it and it will get out. So it's just a waste of energy, and a lot of people are just getting mad and angry discussing this topic, because it's not about how high is the tax rate, it's about how many holes created in the tax net to allow rich people to dodge the taxes. Because there's a specific level of income that it makes sense to start paying professional people to help you to dodge taxes. If you make, I don't know, 50,000, 100,000, it's not cost effective to hire a real professional and pay him a lot of money to find loopholes. Now, if you're in the $1 million, 500,000, maybe $1 million brackets and higher, then it's definitely, it makes sense to do that. So if I would become a president of the United States, which of course impossible, because I was born in Soviet Union, and according to the Constitution, you can't become a president of the United States if you weren't born as a citizen, you say. Although we had a guy running this country for 8 years, and he was born in Kenya. I'm just joking. That was the first thing I would do, is I would cancel all deductions, like all of them. Not like, well, maybe we'll keep this, we'll get rid of that. No deductions, period. 10% deductions for the church, gone. Married couple deduction, gone. Children deduction, gone. Just no deduction, period. You made $100,000, you pay 20%. You made $1 million, you pay 20%. No charities. This is another thing that really bothers me, that all these endless charities being created is pretty much for dodging taxes. All this nonprofits nonsense, that you run a nonprofit company, why would you be running nonprofit? This is a capitalistic society. Everyone runs for profit. And I know that every nonprofit runs to make profit, and then they just work to get rid of the profits, to hide it, or pay out as a bonuses to CEOs, or buy other corporations. Like we have a local hospital chain here in Michigan. They are nonprofit, but when they charge you, like, God dang it, it definitely looks like they're making a lot of profit off me. But they just keep on buying other guys, doctors, medical services. So they're just growing by being wink, wink, nonprofit. So this is what I think about taxes. They need to be flat. Hard to say about amount, because at the same time, if the government decides to lower taxes, they should accordingly lower their expenses. Otherwise, this is game which whole country gonna lose when you cut taxes, but you keep on raising your expenses. So this is my short Soviet log video about taxes. As I said, I didn't have a question about that, but I forgot to mention how upset I was when I was forced to pay extra money at the supermarket because of the sales tax. That was another negative impression of America. And of course later, when I discovered how much money being taken away from salary, because in Soviet Union, If they tell you they're gonna pay you 100 rubles a month, this is what you're gonna get. You're getting 100 rubles a month. There was no taxes. Same at the stores. Prices were final price. You know, if the Lada car is 9,000 rubles and you have to wait 9 years, you just wait 9 years and then you pay 9,000 rubles. There is no sales tax. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I like your questions. I like your likes. So if you have any more questions to me, it doesn't need to be about life in the USSR, please post on this video and we will answer them. Thank you so much. До свидания. Goodbye.
And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.